The rain in Portland didn't just fall. It turned the Douglas firs into jagged shadows and the streetlights into blurred halos. Rowan Pierce stepped into her hallway, shaking a wet umbrella, feeling the familiar weight of a 7-year silence. Inside the master bedroom, Caleb was sitting on the edge of the bed. He wasn't scrolling through his phone or reading. He was just existing in the dark, staring at a blank wall, as if waiting for a message to appear. When she whispered his name, he turned with eyes that were wide, vacant, and terrifyingly polite. "I'm sorry," he said. "Are you the nurse?" The air left the room. Rowan didn't scream, but she felt a sudden, freezing certainty that the man she had shared a life with, the man who knew her favorite tea and her deepest fears, had become a hollow shell. In the weeks that followed, the doctors tried to explain it away. With clinical terms, they called it transient global amnesia, a neurological glitch brought on by extreme stress. They gave her glossy pamphlets, but those papers didn't explain the haunting way Caleb watched her eat breakfast, with a clinical curiosity, as if he were studying a new and strange species of bird. He still knew the pin to his ATM card, and he could hum every lyric to a Radiohead song. But when he touched her hand, his skin felt like a question mark. The illusion of their routine shattered on a Tuesday afternoon, when Rowan found the black moleskin notebook. It was wedged behind a stack of old tax returns, in the back of the closet, hidden where no one was ever supposed to look. She opened it, expecting a journal of his confusion, but what she found was a descent into madness. Every single page was filled with a frantic, slanted script. "The woman in the kitchen is a lie. She is not my wife. She is the cage." Then, a list of names: June, Sloan, Mara, names that tasted like ash. On the very last page, written in a hand so shaky the ink had bled through the paper, was a final instruction. "If the fog returns, look under the floorboards in the cellar. Don't let her stop you." Her heart hammering against her ribs, Rowan went to the basement. It smelled of damp wood and ancient regrets. She pried up the loose plank near the furnace, and there, she uncovered the dark heart of her marriage. It was a medical file from a private clinic in Switzerland, containing a truth so jagged it threatened to cut her open. 2 years ago, Caleb had lived a double life in Seattle. He had a wife, 2 daughters, and a house with a blue door. When Rowan had confronted him, she didn't leave. Instead, she obsessed. She had paid a fortune to a black market clinic to ablate his memories, to surgically delete the other woman and the other life. She had turned her husband into a blank slate just so she could write herself back into his heart, terrified of the man who was now waking up to his own history. Rowan fled Portland that same night. She drove 300 miles to a coastal motel, hoping the ocean air would drown out the ghosts. But she had forgotten one fundamental truth of the human condition. The mind forgets, but the body remembers. Back in their silent home, Caleb's hands were beginning to lead his mind. His muscle memory bypassed his deleted hard drive, leading him to hidden keys and computer passwords his brain shouldn't have known. He didn't find the gentle Caleb she had tried to manufacture. He found the original version, the predatory man, capable of maintaining a lie for years. Rowan was sitting in a dim roadside diner when her phone buzzed with a chilling alert. Her own security app, the one she used to monitor his recovery, whispered a warning: "Home device accessed from remote location." Then came a text from an unknown number that made her blood turn to ice. "You wiped my mind, Rowan, but you couldn't change my nature. I'm starting to remember how much I hated you for making me stay." She bolted for her car, But as she gripped the handle, a shadow stepped out. From the coastal fog, it was Caleb. His eyes were no longer vacant. They were like blue ice, sharp and focused. He grabbed her arm with the grip of a captor, not a husband. "Which Caleb are you looking for, Rowan?" he whispered, his breath cold against her ear. "The one you bought and paid for, or the one who had a suitcase packed for Seattle before you drugged him and dragged him to a surgeon?" He ripped the diamond necklace from her neck, the one she had given him to celebrate their new beginning, and shoved her into the passenger seat. The drive toward the mountains was a journey into the dark. He drove with robotic precision toward the Lazarus Institute, the same brutalist concrete slab in the forest where their tragedy had begun. He intended to put her in the white leather chair, to delete her future the way she had deleted his past. Inside the sterile, ozone-scented clinic, the tension reached a breaking point. Caleb pinned her down, shouting for the technician to start the procedure, to give her the total reset. But as the needle hovered over her skin, a video file on the desk monitor caught the light. It was labeled, "In case of system failure, play first." Caleb paused, his curiosity overcoming his rage. He hit play. The screen flickered to show a younger, broken version of Caleb sitting in that very chair. The Caleb on the screen spoke with a voice full of soul-crushing guilt. "If you're watching this, it means I've forgotten again. Rowan, if you're there, I'm sorry. I asked you to do this to me. I couldn't live with the guilt of what I did in Seattle. I begged you to wipe me clean every time the memories started to leak back in. Don't let me leave. I am a monster, and the only way I can stay a good man is if I don't know who I really am." The revelation hung in the air like a death sentence. Rowan wasn't just a captor. She was an accomplice to a man who couldn't bear his own reflection. Caleb stared at the screen, the rage draining out of him, replaced by a hollow, terrifying vacuum. He looked at Rohan, realizing that they were trapped in a prison they had built together. He ordered the technician to delete the video and proceed with the reset, not to punish Rowan, but to escape himself. One more time. Hours later, as the sun began to peek through the Portland clouds, Rowan drove the car home. Beside her, Caleb leaned his head against the glass, looking peaceful and brand new. When she softly spoke to him, he turned with a gentle, curious smile. "Sorry," he whispered. "Do I know you?" Rowan reached over, gripped his hand tightly, and whispered back, "Yes, I'm your wife, and we're going to be very happy." As they drove into the city, the rain continued to fall, erasing their tracks before they even reached the driveway.